everyone, my name is Josephine Dumagat and we're going to discuss Chapter 5, the global issues that concern schools and society. We became a global village and we became citizens of a global community. In this chapter, Ms. Dungog will discuss the global issues in our society. And Mr. Benjamin Stabilo, we're going to propose a solution of our social problem. I hope you will listen and learn something. Thank you.
The top 10 global issues and how they can be addressed. First is climate change. The global temperatures are rising and are estimated to increase from 2.6 degrees Celsius to 4.8 degrees Celsius by 2100. This would cause more severe weather, crisis with food and resources, and the spread of diseases. The reduction of greenhouse emissions and the spreading of education on the importance of going green can help make a big difference. Lobbying governments and discussing policies to reduce carbon emissions and encouraging reforestation is an effective way of making progress with climate change. Second is pollution. Pollution includes ocean litter, pesticides and fertilizers, air, light, and noise pollution. Clean water is essential for humans and animals, but more than 1 billion people don't have access to clean water due to pollution from toxic substances, sewage, or industrial waste. Third is violence. Violence can be found in the social, cultural, and economic aspects of the world. Whether it is conflict that has broken out in a city, hatred targeted at a certain group of people, or sexual harassment occurring on the street, violence is a preventable problem that has been an issue for longer than necessary. Here are various forms of violence. Various forms of violence. We have physical violence. Physical violence occurs when someone uses a part of their body or an object to control a person's actions. Next is sexual violence. Sexual violence occurs when a person is forced to unwillingly take part in sexual activity. Next, emotional violence. Emotional violence occurs when someone says or does something make a person feel stupid or worthless. Next is psychological violence. Psychological violence occurs when someone uses threats and causes fear in an individual to gain control. Next, spiritual violence. Spiritual or religious violence occurs when someone uses an individual's spiritual beliefs to manipulate, dominate, or control that person. Last, cultural violence. Cultural violence occurs when an individual's harm as a result of practices that are part of her or his culture, religion, or tradition. Security and well-being. The UN is a perfect example of what should be done to prevent the lack of security and well-being, a serious global issue. Through its efforts with regional organizations and representatives that are skilled in security, the UN is working toward increasing the well-being of people throughout the world. Next is lack of education. More than 72 million children throughout the globe that are of the age to be in primary education are not enrolled in school. This can be attributed to inequality and marginalization as well as poverty. Fortunately, there are many organizations that work directly with the issue of education in providing the proper tools and resources to aid school. The Philippines has consistently made a significant stride in its functional literacy rate. Functional literacy, as defined by the National Statistics Authority, is the level of literacy which includes not only reading and writing but also numeracy skills that would help people cope with the daily demands of life. Based on the 2013 Functional Literacy, Education and Mass Media Survey, or FLEMS, the country registered a 90.3% rate, which means that 9 out of every 10 Filipinos aged 10 to 64 were functionally literate. Next is government corruption. So, means of corruption include graft, bribery, embezzlement, backdoor deals, nepotism, and patronage. Corruption is a major cause of poverty considering how it affects the poor the most, eroding political and economic development, democracy, and more. Corruption can be detrimental to the safety and well-being of citizens living within the corrupted vicinity and can cause an increase in violence and physical threats without as much regulation in the government. The Philippines rank 94 out of 177 countries in Transparency International's 2013 Corruption Index. Next is malnourishment and hunger. Currently, there are 795 million people who do not have enough to eat. Long-term success to ending world hunger starts with ending poverty. By fighting poverty through proper training for employment, education, and the teaching of cooking and gardening skills, people who are suffering will be more likely to get jobs, earn enough money to buy food, and even learn how to make their own food to save money. Malnutrition in all its forms includes undernutrition, wasting, stunting, underweight, inadequate vitamins or minerals, overweight, obesity, and resulting diet-related non-communicable disease. The planet creates more than enough food to meet everyone's needs, but there are still millions of hungry people in the world. Next is substance abuse. Substance abuse is the harmful or hazardous use of psychoactive substances, including alcohol and illicit drugs. World Health Organization, the United Nations, reports that by the beginning of the 21st century, an estimated 185 million people over the age of 15 were consuming drugs globally. The drugs most commonly used are marijuana, cocaine, alcohol, amphetamine, stimulants, opiates, and volatile solvents. Different classes of people, both poor and rich, partake in substance abuse, and it is a persistent issue throughout the world. But the developing world, marginalized groups and communities are the most vulnerable to this reality. The Philippines faces this huge problem on substance abuse. Next is terrorism. Terrorism is an issue throughout the world that causes fear and insecurity, violence, and death. Across the globe, terrorist attacks innocent people, often without warning. This makes civilians feel defenseless in their everyday lives. Making national security a higher priority is key in combating terrorism, as well as promoting justice in wrongdoing. To illustrate the enforcement of the law and the serious punishments for terrorist crime. Next is the 17 SDGs. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said the 17 Sustainable Development Goals are our shared vision of humanity and a social contract between the world's leader and the people. They are a to-do list for people and planet and a blueprint for success. After Millennium Development Goals of 2015, here comes another to-do list for the sake of the entire humanity. Refer to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 in the first part of this chapter. Lastly, Global Issues SDGs 2015 to 2030 and Education. In September 2015, the General Assembly adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development that includes 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. Building on the principle of leaving no one behind, the new agenda emphasizes a holistic approach to achieving sustainable development. The realization of the 17 SDGs means solving the top global issues cited by two sources. These global issues and SDGs 2015 to 2030 must be intentionally taught in schools because they are made part of the curriculum.
Good afternoon everyone, my name is Benson Opiasa Estabilio and I'm going to report the 6 examples of solving global problems. Number 1, taking care of stray animals. Many people and especially children feel sorry when they see homeless animals. Can you imagine how wonderful this world would be if every creature found its home and never had to feel hunger and cold again? Turn out this problem can be solved without killing stray animals. Country who have found a solution is Australia and Germany. These are the countries where you won't find any stray animals. The well-organized animal protection system help achieve this result. Every animal has its rights and the violation of this can lead to severe punishment, including imprisonment. Number 2 is sorting out garbage. Sorting your garbage helps reduce the amount of trash that needs processing. It also helps to keep the trash where it belongs so it doesn't end up as litter. This can reduce the amount of money of your community spends on garbage services and even litter collection. Number 3, cleaning air. Cleaning air help us cleaner lungs, decrease asthma and allergies symptoms, improve skin appearance, and helps digestion. Next is reducing electricity costs. It can help the environment. Turning off the lights when you leave your room can help save energy. It can also help reduce carbon emission and other harmful greenhouse gases. Turning off your lights will also help reduce the use of non-renewable resources that are harmful to the environment. Next is saving endangered animals. According to scientists, if there were no humans left on the planet, then the number and variety of animals would increase. While if there were no animals left, humankind would die out because our planet would not be able to stand such as disbalance. Last is caring for people's happiness. If we create only one ministry and put the happiness of citizens at the center of national policy, then many issues will disappear by themselves. So just love, and that's all. Thank you.